Hello, everyone. This is a rare Monday stream because usually on Mondays I'm busy. Usually on Mondays I'm busy. That's also why today is an open source day because usually on Mondays I'm busy. In order to replicate that feeling of being in the office chair, because I'm a bit of a corporate cuck, I figured we should. Sorry, I couldn't keep a straight face saying that. Oh man, that's good. That's really good. But basically, in order to keep the flow of what I usually do on Mondays, which is just sit on the sofa, be a potato, and I don't know. I code for like a couple hours, and I go, okay, I'm done, and I just go and I play games. While also doing other really important duties. I have actually very important duties for most of the day, but when I have the 7 hours, I get to spend it my own way. I figured we should continue the trend of doing things on stream because stream is a bit of an interesting place. I've always thought of streams as being very malleable in sort of their construction because a stream is a medium, and I've had this revelation recently. Many things are mediums for you to be able to do things. There's no such thing as a whatchamacallit. There's no such thing as like you have to do a stream in a certain way because it is a prescribed format, right? The format is only a technical. It's only on the technical level, but the actual thing itself is not really a format. It's just a medium by which you can do things. The only real hard requirement is that somebody else must see you doing it. It's a bit like that whole thing about the tree falling in the forest. Does it make a noise if no one is around to hear it? In my case, yes, because I have no viewers. So this is about as real as that tree falling in the forest, is what I'm trying to say. But then it sort of pauses the question: is it real if nobody sees you doing it? I don't think so, because if nobody ever sees the result of your work, like Franz Kafka, like asked his friend to burn his books. He became an author posthumously because he wrote a bunch of books and was like, this is shit. Please burn it for me. What was his voice? Franz Kafka. Franz Kappa. Sorry, Franz Kappa. Franz Kappa. A new email. Franz Kappa. Voice recording. What do he sound like? Is there any recordings or descriptions of Kafka's voice? The same question bugging me for years. Just a few days ago, I stumbled upon a German article about how sadly there are no voice recordings of him. Oh, that's sad. Oh, but that was also in 1913. But he was German. Listen to Max Brod über Kafka. This guy sounds like Kafka. Max Brod on Franz Kafka. Wait, this is like what? Okay, this is like before the bad times in Germany. So I'm pretty sure I can play this. What did he sound like? What could he have sounded like? Okay, so basically that's what Franz Kafka would have sounded like, right? He was gonna burn all of his books. We would have never gotten his books if not for his longtime friend who said, "Wait, these books are actually slap. I'm gonna put them out there." And presumably he got a fair amount of money doing so. So maybe it was more of a selfish reason, but similar thing here. Anyways, the very long-winded way of saying I figured we should play with the format or the medium a little bit because I think we should have fun with it. We played a game called Berlin 59 recently, which I thought was very, very cool. It was a very interesting MMO, and it's actually open source. So what's interesting is that it's one of the first 3D MMOs out there. Apparently, the first, if Wikipedia is a trustworthy source, but they cite their sources, so maybe it's fine. But also, they have a warning at the top that says this article needs additional citations for verification. So good chance that this is not actually true. But I am excited and curious to see what this looks like and how it feels like because, what does it mean to to be an open source MMO? We've seen the playing of it, but now we're about to see the actual construction of it, which I think is going to be a very interesting dive into it. We're then going to play Project Silverfish because there's another open source community that I need to talk about that I can only talk about in the context of that game because I can sort of frame it in the context of that game, and so the YouTube AI won't flag me as a particular type of account. This is not my mask off moment. I just recognize that the thing that I'm going to talk about is sort of scary and unnerving and sort of a part of a future that we're slowly sleepwalking into that we can't really stop ourselves from going into, because that's sort of the nature of the beast, and that's how these things go. As so how well it's gonna go, I have no clue, but it's gonna be at least a good backdrop for me to like talk about things, and also because I want to actually like do certain things within the game, like finish like a couple quests and explore a couple new areas and try to get to like the new sections and stuff and see what's going on. Do a single dungeon, right, just to see what's going on, or like a single sort of like weird map. Get some more money, buy some more equipment, and we'll see how it goes. Because it honestly that game is very very fun. But I hope that this is going to be a sort of a first part of many different parts of open source, because I didn't realize how large the open source bracket goes. Basically, the go live message of today is POV. You ask your doctor what license your child is born under, but that's sort of not a far fetched reality, if that makes sense. Like the idea of open source as it comes to software is well understood, because open source is sort of about how it's made, and then the practices by which you make them are known, or at least able to be known, with no barriers to entry. Well, barriers to entry in terms of skill, but no barriers to entry in terms of knowledge. Like the only thing that you need to really understand it is an understanding and time, and sort of the ability for you to like intake that knowledge, which is sort of a personal thing, right? But it's not inherent to the system that the source code is in. Like open source means that it is available to you, and you have freedom to do with it whatever you wish, right? Well, I mean, that's sort of it's conflating open source with free software, but I think sort of both are so intrinsically tied together that you can sort of make an argument that you can talk about them together. But the purists would say you can't, because there's such a thing as, and the joke is that the doctor says GPL 3.0, your child is viral, and then all of a sudden that's like a whole different thing. But I digress, right? I think it's just to simplify things. The fact that the source is open and that it's there, it's well known in software. It's just a knowledge check. But that, I think the interesting part is that you can extend that thinking to even physical goods. And so it's like, now you have a physical product that has its source, its entire production chain, its entire methodology behind its production known to the world, which is interesting, because you usually would never be able to get that. It'd be hard for you to know exactly how to make something without prior knowledge in some way via experience somewhere else, and then thus you would be under contract of some manner, or you were the inventor of it, in which case you'd have to be a genius, right? Open source, when applied to physical things, I think sort of transcends both of those requirements, where a genius says, I want the rest of the world to be smarter too, and perhaps better. Though the thing I'm going to talk about later, I don't know if it makes the world better. I think it depends on your viewpoint. It can make the world a whole lot worse, but at least it's kind of cool. You know what I mean? Look, it's kind of cool. So we'll see how it goes. But there is a lot of different things that we can check out today. There's gonna be more different types of open source streams. I just need to figure out like how to get certain chemicals. It's really hard to get chemicals in the Canada. It's like surprisingly hard to get certain chemicals in Canada for some of these drinks, because like it's fascinating how much of our I shouldn't have spoiled the like drinks thing, but it's fascinating how certain things are like a drop of it makes, say, something taste like strawberries, but like 5 drops of it will give you cancer, like immediately. Like you just sprout a tumor from your arm on where the 5 spots drop. And so it's like, okay, I need to figure out how to like do this safely, because I don't want to die for a stream bit. Like I don't want to. What's her name? Was it Marie Curie? Was she the one who? What was Marie Curie most famous for? Despite the career of physics, she discovered polonium. What was the cause of her like death? Exposure to radiation. Right. And her diary is apparently, like, her diary radioactive. It's so radioactive that they have to hold it back. How much radiation is still on Marie Curie's notebooks? BQ, the front back covers were measured to have this much lower contamination. Wipe test. Okay, what? So they're still, things don't suddenly stop being, they're still locked up in lead boxes. Holy shit. They're still locked up. Marie Curie's tomb. The tomb is lined with an inch of lead, as her remains are radioactive till this day. Yeah, so I don't want to go out like Marie Curie. I want to go out on my own terms in a good way and not die like Marie Curie, because that'd be very sad. I think if I died like Marie Curie, Well, she was good at what she did, perhaps a bit too good. But that's basically how this is going to go. I need to figure out some details before I do it because I just don't want to like die. But that's why today is going to be a much more sort of like slower pace. I don't know how fun this is going to be, but at the very least, I want to get it building, and then I want to be able to run it locally, and I want to see how exactly the whole thing is supposed to play out. The as far as I can tell, none of this should dox me, but if it does show my IP address, I guess you'd be able to find me for like 5 minutes if you could somehow figure out what neighborhood I'm rolled down to. Because as far as I can tell, my network is not even like a neighborhood; it's like an entire section of a city. So it's kind of hard to narrow down. But it's still enough. Just give me a moment though. I need to get coffee because this is a very coffee moment. Yeah. Sorry about that. That took longer than 2 minutes because sister came on by. I had to say hello to the kids and stuff. Well, not that I had to, but I wanted to. Said hello to my sister and the kids. It's a rare treat because we only see them like once a week. Usually not on Mondays, so this was a very welcome surprise. We're gonna get started now. I have no clue what to expect from this whole process, but I'm actually curious to see how far we'll get because I don't know how terrible this will be. I also don't know how much I'm gonna need to download because I don't know exactly what this takes. I also have no clue what information is going to be shown. Like a lot of my brother's accounts are on my computer too, so I don't know which one is currently which. I just know that whatever account's going to show, don't bother that person. It's either going to be like my friends or my brothers because we share accounts for various things. So just don't be weird about it. Just give me a second to set things up. Hopefully you all enjoyed that interesting breakdown and just looking through this really cool old system. And the fact that honestly the system works and you can actually build your own version of it. And the fact that it's open source, like I do sort of wonder how far it goes and how much you could make of it. But it's pretty cool that it is there for you to maybe even think about and just learn from. Though to what degree, I don't really know. But at least it's there and you can mess around with it. Okay. That's the power of open source, baby, is that you have all kinds of different things that you can play with in the world and you can learn from people as long as it's open and available. And if the license allows it, maybe you can even use it to make your own game. I mean, who really knows? I don't know, but it seems like you could just write your own thing in it. We're going to move on now to Project Silverfish, but I need a moment because that took a lot of brain power. So how about we all take a 2-minute pee break where I don't pee, I lie down on the bed and piss my pants, and you all listen to just the background music, and we all recover our brain cells a little, because I feel a little tired, okay? So I'll be right back in just a moment, and when I'm back, we'll be back with whatever it was that we were going to do. Holy cannoli, I didn't know it was that loud, sorry. I actually just came back. We're going to move on now to Project Silverfish, because there's actually a second portion of the open source day that I can only talk about in thinly veiled manners, and I need a game that has guns in order to mask exactly what I'm talking about. You'll understand once I talk about the topic itself and sort of how far the open source ecosystem goes, okay? The Meridian 59 aspect was sort of like the first taste and teaser, where it's like, okay, this is like, okay, like whatever AI is running the moderation systems can be like, oh yeah, this is a normal programming stream. This is so cool. Wow, so funky. Wow, the new open source MMO. That's such a cool programming concept. and then I hit you with what I'm about to talk about. So just give me a moment. We're gonna go into Project Silverfish, and hopefully I fooled the AI by this point. I'm out. I'm done. This game is fun, and I do enjoy the fact that it's a bit of a horror element here and there. But it's going to make me scream too much. Thank you for joining me today on this open source day. I'm glad that I was able to use this game as a backdrop to talk about open source guns, as well as to actually try out the Meridian 59 thing. Tomorrow is a special day. Tomorrow is a special day where I think I'm in an 8-player peak lobby with the new cannibalism stuff. So I'm excited to see what's going to happen. I forgot to reply to a message there. I'm not good at replying to messages on that. So I'll get that going. But tomorrow I will not be late. We will start on time. And we're going to play some Peak for I don't know how long, maybe a couple hours. But I don't know what's going to happen after. There's a good chance I'll be too socially tired to continue, but we'll see how it goes. But there's also other games I want to finish before the month really ramps up, because at some point during this month I have to go to a baby shower. So we'll see how it goes. Bye everyone. Thanks for showing up. I appreciate all of you, even though I make it seem like I don't. It's always fun to have somebody to validate my crazy ideas on, okay? What good ideas have we come up with? Eating ticks was a big one. Ticks being a portable blood bag, right? The fact that ticks can almost like process your blood like a crude oil. There was what else was there? There was open source sex toys. That was a good one. I think that one's a hit. I think we can make something interesting out of that, but I'm realizing now it's hard to make a smooth surface that doesn't hurt your fiddly bits. What else was there? There was something about the story. There was something about the story that I was thinking of that was interesting too. Anyways, tomorrow we'll be doing the peak thing. I don't know what else before and after. We'll see how it goes. Bye, everyone. Have a great night.